Welcome back to the Higher Ed Horizon, everyone. I am your host, Sachata, and I am just so thrilled to be sitting here in the studio today for our 28th episode. Can you believe we have come this far already? Today, we are exploring a medium that is very close to our hearts, literally as it is probably in your ears right now. We are talking about the transformative role of podcasts in higher education.
Thank you so much for having me, Sachata. It is an absolute delight to be here. As someone who has spent decades in academia, seeing the shift from traditional, rigid lecture formats to the fluid, dynamic world of audio storytelling has been nothing short of a revolution. It is a topic that really gets me excited because it touches on the very core of how we share knowledge.
It really does feel like a revolution, doesn't it? I mean, even 5 years ago, we talked about podcasts as a niche hobby, but now they are everywhere. Mr. Sarowan, in your view, why has this specific format become such a powerhouse in the university setting? What was the spark?
I think the spark was accessibility, Sachata. We live in a world where students are busier than ever. They are commuting, they are working part-time jobs, they are balancing family life. The traditional model of sit in this wooden chair for 90 minutes and listen doesn't always fit. Podcasts offer this incredible flexibility. It's dead time turned into learning time. You can engage with complex sociological theories while doing the dishes or riding the bus. That is empowering.
That resonates so much. I remember my own student days, feeling that pressure of having to be physically tethered to a desk to be productive. But there is also something about the voice, isn't there? There's a certain intimacy in audio that a textbook just cannot replicate.
You hit the nail on the head. There is a human connection in the human voice. When a professor records a podcast, they are not just delivering data. They are sharing their passion, their hesitations, their excitement. Students have told me that listening to a podcast feels like a one-on-one conversation. It breaks down that ivory tower barrier and makes the academic feel like a mentor, a person, rather than just a figure behind a podium.
I love that image, the breaking down of the ivory tower. It makes learning feel less like a chore and more like a discovery. But let's talk about the faculty side for a moment. I imagine it's quite a shift for a professor who is used to a chalkboard to suddenly think about audio production and engagement hooks. Is there a learning curve there?
Oh, a massive one, Sachata. I have seen colleagues stare at a microphone like it was an alien artifact. But the beauty is that it does not have to be a high-budget production to be effective. The most successful academic podcasts are the ones that are authentic. If a professor stumbles over a word or laughs at their own joke, it actually helps the student connect more. We are moving away from the perfection of a polished lecture toward the authenticity of a deep discussion.
That authenticity is so key. I've noticed that some universities are even moving beyond just listening to podcasts. They're actually asking students to create them as part of their assessments. Instead of a 10-page essay, they produce a 20-minute audio documentary. What do you think about that shift towards student-led content?
I think it is one of the most exciting pedagogical shifts in years. When a student creates a podcast, they are learning so much more than just the subject matter. They are learning how to interview, how to synthesize complex information for a general audience, how to tell a story, and yes, the technical skills of editing. It forces them to truly master the material, because you can't explain a concept clearly in audio if you don't understand it deeply yourself.
Exactly. It's that old saying, if you want to learn something, teach it. And a podcast is essentially a way of teaching your audience. I imagine it also builds a lot of confidence. Seeing your work published on a platform like Spotify or Apple Podcasts must be such a boost for a young scholar.
It truly is. It gives their work a life outside of the classroom. Usually an essay is read by one person, the grader, and then it sits in a folder forever. A student podcast can be heard by their peers, their family, and even experts in the field. It creates a sense of pride and professional identity that is very hard to replicate with traditional assignments.
Now, we have to talk about the challenges too. As much as we love this medium, we have to ensure it is inclusive. I'm thinking about students with hearing impairments, or those whose first language isn't English. How do we make sure the podcast revolution doesn't leave anyone behind?
That is an essential point, Sachata. Accessibility cannot be an afterthought. Every academic podcast should be accompanied by a high-quality transcript. Not only does this help students with hearing impairments, but it also helps everyone with keyword searches and note-taking. We also need to be mindful of bandwidth. Not every student has high-speed internet to stream high-def audio, so providing downloadable compressed versions is a matter of equity.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about building a multimodal environment where the audio complements the text and vice versa. Looking into your crystal ball, Mr. Sarowan, where do you see this going in the next 5 to 10 years? Will the traditional lecture hall eventually become a giant recording studio?
Perhaps not entirely. I think the physical campus will always have its place for community and hands-on work, but I suspect the lecture as a one-way transmission of facts will move almost entirely to audio and video. Class time will then be reserved for what really matters: debate, collaboration, and mentorship. The podcast becomes the pre-work that fuels the fire of the in-person discussion.
That sounds like a much more vibrant way to learn. It treats the student as an active participant rather than a passive vessel. I feel so energized just thinking about the possibilities for our future episodes and how we can continue to be a part of this conversation.
And you are doing a wonderful job of it. This podcast itself is a testament to the power of the medium. You are bringing complex ideas to people's ears every week, and that is a service to the community.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sarowan. That means a lot. As we wrap up this 28th episode, I want to leave our listeners with a bit of a challenge. If you are a student or a teacher, try recording just 5 minutes of your thoughts on a topic you love. Don't worry about the quality, just focus on the feeling and the story. You might be surprised at how much it changes your perspective.
I couldn't agree more. Just start. Your voice deserves to be heard.
What a perfect note to end on. Thank you again, Mr. Sarowan, for sharing your wisdom with us today. And to our listeners, thank you for being part of our journey. We'll be back next week with more insights from the world of higher education. Until then, keep listening, keep learning, and keep sharing your voice. This is Sachata, signing off from the Higher Ed Horizon. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.